You get haters and criticism, but you also get the people who actually care about that thing and want to make it happen are attracted to the people who I think have the courage to go say, I'm going to go make this happen, even though it's really far off.
The second part I want to talk about that interview is when people have too many opinions. Like, Facebook has gone through a lot. And Facebook has...
the presidential wave.
And Facebook also has done a lot of changes. Some are good, some are bad for the platform, So what happens when you make a change and people say whatever they want to say about it? So let's go to that part.
I just think that when you plant a flag and say that you're going to go do something, you get haters and criticism, but you also get the people who actually care about that thing and want to make it happen are attracted to the people who I think have the courage to go say, I'm going to go make this happen, even though it's really far off. So I think that all these things there are pros and cons to them, and there's a lot of complexity to manage. But I think that this is true no matter what size organization you're at.
Go ahead, Moose. I want to hear your side of it.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, I think you make it clear to not just the community, but the world where you stand, right? Like, there's a lot of people who want to live in the gray area or continue to be PC or politically correct, not to offend part of the group or the other side of the group, as opposed to saying, you know what, I'm going to take a hard stand and really do everything to be in line with what I'm believing or what I'm aiming for. So it becomes very clear. You don't have to waste your time with non-believers or people who might still be interested in what you used to do, because you literally are no longer doing it. So the part that I was most interested in with that clip, it's think about not even just the people you're trying to recruit, but the people who you currently have. There's no better way to tell your team, those in your family, whomever it is, about the shift that you're about to make or want to make than making such a radical adjustment like that, right? Even from the way we identify ourselves, we're going to change our identity so that we can now start becoming this new thing that we're trying to create. So I just think it's a very bold move. It's a great move to show your people that you're about it. So sometimes, like, if we're stuck or we're wondering why people aren't cooperating, it goes back to that example of children, right? Like, your children are not going to do what you tell them to do. They're going to do what they see you doing. So I think that's one of those things, like, comparing it to children, but I think to some extent our teams are going to follow in that regard. When they see us taking a hard stand like that, it's going to be like, let me make the decision now. Am I willing to go and try this, or should I get off here because I'm not interested in that space? So from a team standpoint, I love that piece.
Yeah. I really like this clip because two reasons. So there's more good than bad that happens when you stand your ground. There's more like, we concentrate too much on what maybe people may say about it or how they feel about it in their negative vibes. But at the same time, from a business standpoint, you are going to grab people without even knowing that really want to support it, not only from maybe a purchasing or marketing standpoint, but literally people who want to enhance it, people who want to grow the company or grow that particular situation more than others, right? More than you going and putting an ad out to get that position filled. There may be people who are like, yo, I love what you're doing. Let me be a part of it. I believe Facebook is so smart because any social media platform is so smart because they create the platform and they're allowing third-party people to, or even, employees or whatever, to create the apps that power the platform. So if we're talking about this whole metaverse and Oculus or whatever their new glasses are going to be, they're now encouraging people to build within the metaverse, right? And they will provide the platform and you can make a living off of it. And that's all really these social media platforms or any type of platform really does. We may not understand it right away. Like, we're not going to understand this meta move for a little bit, right? This probably won't really form to its entirety for another 5 to 10 years where we really fully understand it, right? But the fact that, Facebook, aka Meta, is saying, I'm going to create the platform and I'm going to stand strong on it, and it's going to attract the people who want to be a part of it, that's major. That's taking the energy off of the so-called haters or so-called negative situations and just focusing on the true purpose and reason of why you created anything. It's kind of discouraging to hear so much doubt or hear people not truly support it. But what about the people who do? What about the people who champion it? What about the people who are risking to do it with you? Why don't we concentrate on that a little bit more rather than what the haters have to say or what the haters are, the doubters are going to do? Like, in the interview, he spoke about when he changed the timeline, when it was on Facebook, all the, you can only post on people's walls, and now became a true timeline. Like, spoke about that. He spoke about other changes, buying Instagram, and like, how did you feel when people said about this or when they didn't think that was going to happen? It's like, they're going to say what they're going to say. They're not going to understand it. People are not going to understand when you disrupt the universe. People are not going to understand when you are trying to make a change when they're so used to one particular way. And so it makes sense of where he stands with it, where from a business standpoint and a company standpoint, he can't pay attention. Because if I stay strong, I'm going to attract and recruit the people that I need, that is going to fast forward my goals. So I love what he said about that. I really, that whole interview, if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. Warning, Gary V interrupts a whole lot. But
seriously.
But it is, but if you watch Gary V interviews, he do that. And there's no shade. It's just, you already know. So, but expect the metaverse to be a situation, a really big situation. I am dedicating next year to truly learning about it. There's, 3 buckets that I have. It's going to be metaverse, YouTube, and podcasting. Those are my 3 buckets. Not necessarily in that order, but those are important. So learn about the metaverse, start to get comfy about it, because this is what all we're going to be hearing. We've heard crypto, we've heard NFTs, and they all go around this thing called the metaverse. So pay attention, people.